Greetings. My name is Her Majesty Queen Mother Dawiti Desir Huna Huna II Koile of Ouidah, Benin. I'm speaking to you from my home in New York State. Like so many of you, I have grown weary, I've grown anxious, I've grown frustrated, I've grown astounded by the level of violence that is exacted upon people of African descent every single day in this country. The events of the past few days of burnings, of rioting, of looting is an unfortunate response to a bigger set of unfortunate circumstances. We speak of how we are better than this as a society, that we shouldn't be destroying our cities. No, we ought not be destroying our cities. But it seems that we are not better than this because we don't seem to have any qualms about destroying our people, destroying our citizens. We've got to do better than that. We're better than the social contract that we have failed to realize. We need to recreate that contract. With so many men and women losing their lives needlessly, senselessly in this country, the amount of grief and mourning, the trauma that it exacts on mothers in particular, is enormous. I found myself having a breakdown a few years ago, one weekend when Fernando Castillo was killed, and there were a number of other deaths that in the same short 48-hour period, I found myself in tears, worried about my own son, and worried about the sons of so many mothers and fathers in this country and elsewhere. When will the madness end? When will it end? But the issue of killing, destroying the lives of African descendants, these acts of genocide, physical, cultural, moral, spiritual, that has been taking place here is a reflection of what is taking place elsewhere in other countries. And a set of unfortunate events, tragedies that have been taking place for, dare I say, centuries. We need to have alternative models for doing things. We are getting messages from various people suggesting that we go out in the streets and we fight. And perhaps we should. You know, I want to issue a call to arms, but not necessarily the kind of arms that are going to result in continued bloodshed on our streets. If that has to happen, then so be it. But let's do it in a manner that is organized. Let's do it in a manner that is strategic. Let's do it in a manner that reflects understanding of what the outcome and what the consequences of these actions would be. But I also want to call to arms in terms of these arms that we have. The arms that we use to embrace ourselves in love. The arms that we use to embrace those near us, both visible and invisible. Because we need to embrace our ancestors. We need to embrace those who came before us. We need to embrace the spirit of those who have fallen. And we need to embrace the spirit of those who remain among us. And the spirits of those who are yet to be. I found myself reflecting on an article that I wrote some years ago, Afraid of the Dark, Boogeymen, Zombies, and the Extrajudicial Killings of Our People. I wrote it because I was concerned about the metaphysical aspects of these killings. I observed that these killings on the streets were making a bull of us. We were the sacrifices. We, black men, women, young, old, children, adults, were being used as the able, the sacrifices of some wicked god that white supremacists in this country think is their right. It is their God-given duty to shoot us down, to hunt us down like animals. We have to step away from that role. It's not that we wanted to play that role. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But we have to assume our agency and understand the meanings behind dying on the streets like this. The streets, that is Eshu's domain. Eshu, Papa Legba, who opens the doors, who is the guardian of the crossroads, who is the keeper of the plain. We're falling down in places. We're being killed. We're being murdered. We're being assassinated in places that are supposed to be about our transformation. The guns that are used, the gunpowder, the metal that is there, that represents Ogun. Ogun, who is the force of justice. Ogun, who is righteousness. Ogun, who cuts open the forests and makes way for civilization. Those gifts are being used against us. The sweetness, the goodness of Freda, of Oshun, to bring about creativity, to be the most enlightened versions of ourselves, as is represented by Papa Loco. Those gifts are being taken away from us. And part of the reason they're being taken away from us is because we don't even know that these are our gifts. I'm speaking to you not only as the Queen Mother, I'm speaking to you as a Mambo Asogwe, a high priest in Haitian Voodoo. I need all of you to embrace yourselves. Take your arms and embrace yourselves. Take your arms and lift up your ancestors. And take a look at the knowledges, the sacred knowledges that they held dearly. Your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your grandfather, your parents may have been Christians. That's okay. They may have been Muslims. That's okay. But before they were those things, they were a particular kind of African with a very clear set of worldviews that embraced and uplifted them, and made us understand that God looks like us, that God looked like you, that God looks like them. We can't have our gods and our goddesses dying on the streets now, can we? America can't have it both ways. France can't have it both ways. China can't have it both ways. Libya can't have it both ways. We can't have it both ways, where we want and need African descendants, African black-skinned people in our countries, and then destroy their lives at the same time, destroy our lives, undo us, what we call dishonor, taking the breath of life, the residue of life away from us. You can't turn us into your zombies. Take away our will, our divine will from us. No, you can't have it both ways. And African people, whether you call yourself African Americans, whether you call yourself Haitian, Cuban, Brazilian, Congolese, Surinamese, whatever appellation you go by, you also can't have it both ways. Either you're in or you're out. Either on your side of your people, you're on the side of that love that knows no bounds, that love that is ingrained, embedded in you, that consists of your DNA, Either you're on that side or you're not. There's no in between. Either we are going to stay in this country as full citizens, and have our rights embraced, our human rights embraced, our cultural rights embraced, and we are going to push our Congress people, our president, uh, whoever that president will be, um, our legislators on the local level to ratify a basic human right mandate, the Durban Declaration and Program of Action Plan, something that this country has refused to call for universal adherence. And it's not just this country. A number of the countries in the global north have not embraced the DDPA. This document that demands, that encourages, that urges an end to Afrophobia, to racism, to xenophobia, and other forms of intolerance. The laws need to change here, and they need to change in a way that doesn't vacillate, where the goalpost keeps getting moved. Our education, whether it's at home or in schools, have to reflect our presence and our contributions as African descendants to the global legacy of this world. Either we're going to do it or we're not. Either we're going to inform and educate ourselves or we're not, because we already know that they are not. We already know the school systems that we are a part of are not going to do that. We need a new model for leadership, one that is not Masonic, as in NESS, as in Messiah. We don't want that vision of leadership. We can't afford that vision of leadership. There ain't going to be nobody there to save us. In the Afro-Atlantic world, we've always known that, but the rest of our people need to know that, because that message has been a mess for us. What we need is a Masonic vision of the world, as in being a Mason, MASON. And I'm not talking about joining Freemasonry. No, I mean each and every single one of us is like a brick, is a cinder block. We build together and we find strength and power that way. We need to develop spaces where our young people are able to sit down with elders, where our Christian, Muslim, Black, Hebrew brothers and sisters are able to sit down with Vodouisan, with Candomblé, with the Santeros and the Tatas and the Iyas and the Babas, the Mambo and the Ugan. We need to have our lawyers, as well as our activists, our economists, sitting down with us and come up with a more strategic plan for living in this world, for being more just, having more just existence for ourselves. And if we can't have that here in this country, then we need to do it elsewhere. If America doesn't want African descendants, then let's make a decision to leave. But are our Caribbean and African brothers and sisters ready to receive us? Are those governments ready to make way for us? There's a lot of work that has to be done. And some of us need to be out on the streets fighting. Some of us need to be planning and creating the infrastructure for moving forward. Moving in a way that is going to allow not only our lives to be sustained, but the vision that we have for a better world, for ourselves, for our children and our children's children, going down 7 generations, that this is able to be realized. Now, I'm just a little old queen mother, a little old Haitian priest. But if you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody that can use my counsel, that could listen to the words that I have to share, and not just me. There are other elders who have been out here doing the work for a long time, for a long time. And some of you know, and enough of you know who we are. But we need a bigger platform. We need a more extensive platform. We need resources to do this work, to create this infrastructure, to bring about the transformative elements of enlightenment, of change, of justice that we seek in the world. We need to be able to work together. Ensemble. In unity, there is strength. So the call to arms is about hooking up with one another, creating that kind of solidarity across the globe, because it isn't just here. I was born in Haiti, but I grew up here. My son was born and raised here. I want to know that he will see tomorrow, just like I want to know that you will see tomorrow, and your children will see tomorrow. When I spoke of the Masonic vision for doing things, as in Mason, I mean like my son, just like I mean your son. I mean Masonic, as in my voice, as in the ability of the word that comes from within me is able to travel across this country, beyond its borders, straight into the heavens, so that it falls upon the ears of the divine force that put me here, that put you here, all of us in existence. We've got to work together. We've got to work together. If you decide to go to arms, if you decide to be out on the street, protect yourselves, not just physically, protect yourselves spiritually. We're in for a long, what am I saying? We've been in a long struggle. We've been at war. We've been at war since we arrived in the Americas. This is a place of great opportunity, of great beauty in some ways, but also tremendous insanity. We can't lose our minds and our lives as others have. We can't be the Ebo, the sacrifices of people who, for whatever sick and twisted reasons, don't want us here. We have to link up arms and love ourselves, embrace ourselves enough to fight like Shango with strategy and